Call the roll.
Eric Van Buren.
Here.
Nathan Emmons.
Here.
John McLaughlin.
Here.
John Gozick.
Here. You get a motion to approve the minutes of the May 16, 2016 committee meeting. Motion.
Second.
What else? Call the roll. Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes. Is there any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Item number 1, under authorization, Thomas Kells, DPW Commissioner, received a request from Mandy Cohen to have her wedding ceremony on 9/24/2016 at Brightback Park to include the setup of two 10-by-30 tents side by side on the east side of the bell tower with chairs for 200 to 250 people. Ms. Cohen is also asking for permission to have two violinists to perform during the ceremony, which will commence at 4 p.m. and conclude at approximately 4:45 p.m. There's an attachment. I think the only thing that's out of the ordinary with this is the violinist stuff. I don't think we need a waiver of the noise ordinance. It's within the limits that we would normally do it, and time frame wise, I think we can skip it. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Motion. Second.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes. Item number 2, Thomas Kells, DPW Commissioner, received a request from Allison Anderson, advisor for the Oswego High School Sailing Club, for use of the dry storage area at the International Marina to store 3 high school-owned sailing club boats at no cost to the club. The Oswego Yacht Club has agreed to allow the sailing club to use the hoist in the area to launch and retrieve boats, and sailors at the yacht club will act as mentors to the students, and there's an attendant. Everyone here speak to that event? Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes. Item number 3, Thomas Kells, DPW Commissioner, received a request from Ruth Wallace to hold Walt Julian's World event at Brightback Park, the entire park area, on 6/26/2016 from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Ms. Wallace held the same event in 2015 to honor Julian Ross, who passed away in 2015 after a courageous battle with cancer, as well as to raise awareness about childhood cancer. Use of the city bandwagon in the pavilion is requested for this event, and waiver of the fees is also requested. Is there anyone here to speak to this event? Are there any questions or comments?
Just make a comment. I just happened upon it last year, and it was a really nice event. They had music. It was family-oriented, and so I seen it, but I wasn't aware of it before, but it seemed like it's for a really good cause to raise awareness for childhood cancer. If anyone wasn't aware of that.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Motion.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
No.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes.
We got item number 4. The engineering department received a request from George Baldwin, owner of a 2-family dwelling at 106 East Seneca Street, located in the 2nd Ward, for use of public space, 8 foot by 24 foot, for a new covered porch between the sidewalk and property line fronting East Seneca Street. Counselor?
I've checked this out. There's one neighbor that's against it. The rest of the neighbors in the neighborhood that I've conversed with are for it, and both parties are here to speak to it.
Is there anyone here that would like to speak to that? Ma'am, you want to just make your way to one of the mics?
Hi, I am Mary Lee Andrews, and I am the property owner of 108 East Seneca Street, which is right next to 106 East Seneca Street. This is the first time I've ever been to a hearing like this. I went to see Mr. Bell to see what I might need to bring to this hearing, since he gave my son a message about this meeting. I asked Mr. Bell if I needed a lawyer to be present, and he told me no. I was told Mr. Baldwin did need a building permit, but not a variance for his porch. I asked for a copy of the proposed porch drawing of what Mr. Baldwin was intending to build, but was told that legally I could not have one. I have never been contacted directly by anyone at City Hall regarding this matter or hearing. I haven't a clue of how to protect my interest on this issue, and I'm wondering if there are any minutes or record of this meeting that I would be entitled to when it's over.
Yeah,
I would be.
minutes for this meeting will be typed. You can.
Okay, thank you. This property, meaning 106 East Seneca Street, was originally owned by my husband, Fred Andrews. Fred sold the property in 1979 and made sure that the property line was up to the edge of the 106 East Seneca property, since it would be a rental property, so we knew we would not have any future problems, or hope to. It has been a rental property all these years. Mr. Baldwin, the current owner of 106 East Seneca Street, told me a number of times that he was going to put a porch on the front of the house. I told him that that was nice, but I did not want anything hanging over my driveway so that the water, snow, and ice would become my problem. I have no problem with the porch, even though it is tight to the property line due to where the door is going upstairs. He kept repeating to me that he was going to do the foot or more overhang of the roof. I could not make him understand that I did not want that roof. I tried to explain my reasons, but he was not listening because he wanted what he wanted. The first time I said no, he was throwing large cement chunks into his truck, and you could tell how angry he was with my answer. He continued on building. Realizing that he was not backing down, I called and asked if a permit had been issued at that property, which has brought me here tonight. I was afraid he was going to do what he said, and then it would be too late for me. During all of Mr. Baldwin's renovations on his property, including demolition inside, roofing, plumbing, electrical, etc., I never saw a building permit, and I never complained. I feel that I have been a good neighbor, but the porch is pushing me too far. If he is granted permission to add the porch and the overhanging roof onto my property, you are creating hardships, restrictions, and liability for me. My driveway is steep and angled in the first place. Even on a dry day, I have trouble getting up or down it. I cannot do slanted surfaces very well. I am handicapped with my knees and back. When it is wet, it is treacherous. I wish I was able to show you exactly what it is like. The current house roof that overhangs my driveway has snow buildup and ice and icicles in the winter. This new roof is going to thaw during the winter, drip east onto my driveway and north down the hill, creating excessive ice issues directly across the area where many people walk. Even now during the winter, we park 2 vehicles in the driveway. Ice and snow are always falling off of Mr. Baldwin's house roof. With an additional porch with an overhang, we will have to park even further to the east in my driveway. With the buildup from shoveling and plowing, we will be forced more to the east and virtually onto my lawn. With the approval of this project, you are depriving me of the use of my own property, a section that is not public domain. A plow person does not even want to plow my driveway because of the pitch or the angle of it. Backblading is not really easy either. When I have company, they pull into the driveway. The icy conditions are hazardous to them as well. More than once, someone has slipped getting out of the car, especially when it has melted and turned to black ice. The mailman uses Mr. Baldwin's side of my driveway as he makes his way to leave the mail at 106, and then across my driveway to me, so he'd be walking in that same area. Safety is a big issue for me and for anyone using this driveway. Why should he be allowed to cause more safety issues? And if this is approved, is the city going to be responsible for the liability, since you're claiming that it's public space? There is a liability issue for me. If you grant this, then I would have to up my liability coverage. I would have to pay more because George wants that overhang. Not fair that I get the extra expense. He makes the money from renting it. I am the homeowner, and he is the landlord. I have lived there since 1975, and my husband built that house in 1965. I know that he is improving the property, but I should be able to do what I want on my property since I maintain it on my retired fixed income. I have to plan what I spend money on and when. I cannot afford to repair problems caused from water, snow, and ice from this porch. I already have had damage from the roofing tiles that blew off just after he bought the property. They hit the house and scratched my granddaughter's car. I know I could not prove that to his satisfaction. I had to have the driveway coated after he painted the eaves since he had paint splatters and drips before I got him to put down drop cloths. He had scaffolding up in my driveway for a month, and I had to give him 2 extra weeks to finish for one side of the house. There's just no consideration for the homeowner. I tried being a good neighbor by letting another neighbor of mine put an overhanging roof maybe a foot or more on my property that's right directly behind my garage. It has not worked out as the snow and ice is wearing away the small deck that is between the roof and my garage. When shoveling it off, anything I have stored there can get damaged. The garage floor gets wet or damp. And again, problems for me, even though I thought I was trying to be a good neighbor. So this is part of the reason I do not want the one in my driveway. I have given much thought about the roof that George wants to put on, but I hope you can see that it is not in my best interest. I beg you not to grant the building permit that would allow the porch roof to overhang on my property. My property is my little bit of heaven to enjoy and to be left alone. And since I wrote this, I had also filed for a Freedom of Information Act. And in the Freedom of Information Act, I had asked for, I'm sorry, I'll quote what I put here, any information relating to 1080 Seneca Street, such as certificate of occupancy or compliance, any and all permits and inspections involving the plumbing, electrical framing, and so on from the years 2012 to 2016. And the answer came back to me today that there has been no permits or certificates of occupancy issued for the property located at that particular address, 106 East Seneca Street. And in talking with other people also, that house was empty for I don't know how many years before George bought it. And in talking about it, they have told me that if a house is empty after a year or so, that this house was a 2-family house, that it couldn't be redone as a 2-family house without getting further permission. And I don't think any of that has been done either, according to this, and this is your codes, is what and I did look it up after they told me about it, and I did look it up. So I guess I'm asking you to think about all the things that I have said, and I do have some pictures here that you can pass around. It shows his property, my driveway, some of the overhanging, if I can pass them around to you. Do any of you have any questions for me?
Questions or comments?
I'd like to see the picture.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak to this?
I do. That's my house. You said a lot about it. First of all, my name is George Baldwin. I thank you for allowing me to speak. I did buy the house at 106 East Seneca. It was dilapidated. It was in rough shape. They had, first of all, she doesn't own up to the property line. If you look at the deed, it's 0.27 feet, which is 3 1/4 inches I own. She is infringing on my property also. She's talking about water. First of all, my addition that I'm putting off the front, I'm building it on my property. Nothing's hanging over on her side at all. Absolutely zero. I didn't get a building permit because this house has a lot of history. This house was here long before her husband bought the house next door. So maybe he should have considered the drip edge off the end of the house and how the water's going to run in the driveway and the location of the driveway. We're talking about water here. Water flows from high to low. Water ends up in the street and goes to the drain. I can't help that. I'm trying to control where the water goes on her house. I've been a good tenant of this house. Before I even bought the house from Ron Rookie, the shingles were blowing off into her yard. I didn't even own the house. I put a roof on it. And when I put the roof on, I put a scaffold up to replace the work to keep this lady happy. She wasn't happy. She complained. I cleaned up the yard every day, made sure it was clean. I put a roof on it. When I was up there, I primed and painted the eaves. I took the tree down that was growing out of the well. There was a 6-foot pipe sticking out of the ground for a vent. I did change that and replace it because it looked like hell. This house has a lot of history. I found an 1881 silver spoon in the basement. Underneath the concrete, the whole front of this building was a bar at one time. It was a store at one time, I believe. That house has been there a long time. It's probably the oldest house in that whole ward. All I'm doing is trying to improve that house and the look of the house. The whole front of the house is nothing. Putting a porch on the front, keeping it all on my property. I have 3 1/4 inches. I'm going to use that 3 1/4 inches on her property. Her fence is on my property. She didn't tell you that. She also did a little landscaping on the edge of the curb, and she's on my property. When they designed her house, her garage, the water from her garage slopes onto my property, runs into my basement. Her house, the water runs, it's a gable roof, runs the length of her driveway. Where does the water go? It goes into your driveway. So you got issues with water and you got issues with ice. That's the fact of life. You know, that's the design of the house you made. That house was there before her house. I can't help that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to improve the neighborhood and the look of the neighborhood. It's a blighted area, and I've tried to make improvements on it. I have done work inside myself. My sister lives upstairs. My stepson lives downstairs. And I have worked on it, but I've done everything with my legal right. I fixed the floors. I'm trying to fix the house up and trying to do a nice job. I didn't get a building permit because the whole front of this property was nothing but concrete, because it was an old store and it had steps, and the steps didn't even go to anywhere. And I kept the existing grade against the house, and it is a steep slope. So I raised the slope in the front. I want to raise the slope. I haven't built anything yet. I thought I had the legal right to replace what was there, and then I found out I didn't even own it. I didn't own the property. The city owns it. The city owns your porch, too, on your house, and they own your driveway. I didn't know that. So it's not her driveway, it's the city's driveway. Her porch sticks out farther than my porch is going to stick out. And I'm not going to infringe on her property, and I was willing to put a shed roof on to shed all the water to the front of the house and away from her property. She's a very difficult lady to be living next to. Actually, she's a nightmare, and everybody warned me about her. All the tenants that live around that neighborhood are very happy that I'm improving that house in that neighborhood, because nobody, even her husband when owned the house, didn't fix it up. Nobody did. The last 3 people that owned that house did absolutely nothing. So I'm guilty of trying to fix up the house and make the city better. Maybe I should be punished for it by not giving me that permit, but I'd like to put that porch on so my sister, who is also elderly, can get up and down the stairs to go upstairs, because she lives upstairs. And she has a hard time now getting in and out because she's complaining about the porch that I'm putting on the front that was existing busted up concrete that was flowing in, the water running into the basement. And they've also damaged the side of my house. Mark, your jet ski, you put right against the house. All the siding on my house is damaged. I don't care.
Yeah, well, then
she
you're
went
gonna have to stop
offline.
talking.
Now I'm going
All right,
off.
You're done. Thank you.
Sir,
You're
I
out
just
of
don't
order.
think it's right.
That's fine.
You're
You're
out of
thank
order,
you.
George.
All right.
All done.
You're out of order. Please take a deep breath.
But I don't want to get
Compose
personal
yourself.
here.
Sir.
I'm not getting
Sir.
personal.
I've already
I'm not getting personal.
I've already
Compose
answered.
yourself.
Thank you.
All right, I am.
Thank you for your.
But I'm just
Sir,
asking that
I've ended.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. Any questions or comments?
I think he's doing a good job. I think both of them need to talk to one another and try to solve this, because we won't be able to solve this. We'll be able to approve the use of the property, the city end of it, but we won't be able to solve your problem. You two need to talk to one another, not argue. Other than that, that's all I've got to say. Other than, I'll make a motion if nobody else has got anything.
I would say that we can forward this to the full council, take the week to do some research on what's going on so that at least makes it there. If you make a formal decision then, if we don't want to hear it, that's fine. If you want to vote it down, that's fine too. I think we take the 7 days just to figure out what's going on history-wise, if anyone has any concerns or questions. We'll move it forward from here. We'll take our final action like we normally do. That's okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. That's got a motion on the floor. Second.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't understand the words you said.
Sorry. We'll take this and vote to send it to full council. We'll take the week to do some research. Everybody can have their concerns. I think there's a few folks that have some questions they want to talk to some folks about. Once we get to council, we'll vote on it as normal and go from there, but it'll be a week from tonight. Okay. I'll second Pat's motion.
Eric Van Buren,
Yes.
Nathan Emmons,
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes.
Item number 5, the Engineering Department received a request from Wayne Murray, owner of a two-family dwelling at 101 West 3rd Street, located in the 3rd Ward, for use of public space 145 lineal feet for a proposed new 4-foot-high wood fence between the sidewalk and the property line, as well as 19-foot by 30 feet for proposed 3-car parking area between the sidewalk and the property line. Both requests running West 3rd Street as intended. Councilor Emmons.
I haven't had a chance to speak with Mr. Murray. I wonder if he's here tonight. I went down and seen the property. I'm not necessarily in favor of converting the city property into the 3 parking spaces. I think it might actually be detrimental to the community itself down there. But I haven't had a chance to speak to him personally.
Would you like to move it forward, or do you want to take no action on it?
I would rather take no action on it this time, to have a further conversation.
Take no action. Moving on to item number 6, the Engineering Department received a request from Greg Peddle, owner of a single-family dwelling at 69 West Van Buren Street, located in the 1st Ward, for use of public space 8 feet by 24 feet for a new covered porch between the sidewalk and property line fronting West Van Buren Street. Councilor Reynolds. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Eric Van Buren,
Yes.
Nate Emmons,
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes.
Item number 7, the Engineering Department received a request from Stephen Pegaroli, property owner of 243 Dewar Street, for use of public space 9 foot by 25 foot to accommodate proposed 3-car parking area between the curb and the property line fronting Dewar Street, and there is an extension. The councilors here. Is there anyone here to speak to this?
Yes, my counselor's not here. Here I am. Yeah, I was just looking to be able to park 2 vehicles in the driveway located there at 243 with the intentions of opening up an antique shop there. I guess that process is still pending, but I'm just looking for permission for parking there.
Any questions or comments?
Is it zoned properly?
Probably that's the part that he's waiting for the pending section.
Right. Yeah, it was
I'd rather
formerly.
wait for the zoning to come through.
I was going to say, I think not to sway the zoning process one way or the other, we would rather not approve the use of public space, because if they've already gotten it, then that could sway the approval of what the zoning thinks if we've already given an okay on part of it.
So
Probably wait
this,
for their ruling if it's going to be rezoned, and that's a use. If they're going to give you a use variance for the property, then we can come back and do the parking section.
okay, so this will go on the backside of the next meeting.
Right. So when the zoning process goes through, they'll come back and then
Okay,
so
good enough.
we'll put this back on the agenda when you're ready if you get approval.
Sounds good. All right, thanks.
So we'll take no action on that as well. Number 8, the Engineering Department received a request from Gina Lyons Alley, owner of a single-family dwelling at 70 West Mohawk Street, for use of public space 11 feet by 20 feet for a proposed 1-car parking space between the curb and the sidewalk fronting West Mohawk. You or Nate?
Yeah, 5th Ward.
Councilor Goes.
Yeah, I'd spoken to Gina Lyons and Mr. Ali. Mr. Ali is disabled. They do have parking way in the back. There's a parking lot that goes alongside there. But our city engineer, Bob Johnson, had laid out a plan that keeps some of the green space in the front, but also provides the parking Mr. Ali would need. They're going to be moving into this residency. Right now they live outside the city, and they plan on residing there. So that's why they want it.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Eric Van Buren,
Yes.
Nathan Emmons,
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes.
Item number 9, the engineering department received a request from Julianne Stanka, owner of a single-family dwelling at 26 East 6th Street, located in the 2nd Ward, for use of public space 1 foot by 18 feet for a proposed new 4-foot-high wood fence between the sidewalk and property line fronting East 6th Street, as well as a 1 foot by 17 foot for a proposed new 4-foot-high wood fence between the sidewalk and property line fronting East Seneca Street.
Yeah, she's just looking to put up the fence, mainly because fences are better neighbors.
Interesting way to put it. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes.
And item number 10, the engineering department received a request from Dane Spicer, property owner of a single-family dwelling at 293 West 2nd Street, located in the 5th Ward, for use of public space 22 foot by 20 foot for proposed new 2-car paved parking area between the sidewalk and the right-of-way, together with a new 7 foot by 20 foot paved apron between the curb and sidewalk fronting West 2nd Street. Council.
Yeah, Mr. Spicer couldn't be here tonight, but I didn't have any problem from any of the neighbors. I went and looked at the site, and I thought it would actually improve the area, if you're familiar with this area down on West 2nd Street, just off of Niagara Street up from the post office. I thought it would be a benefit to the community. Other neighbors had done improvements on their homes, and so I thought it would actually complement the neighborhood. I didn't see any problem. Ran it by Bob Johnson, the city engineer, and he said everything looked good. So,
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion.
second.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes.
Item number 11, the engineering department received a request from Cynthia Burns, owner of a 2-family dwelling at 115 East Cayuga Street, located in the 2nd Ward, for use of public space 153 lineal feet for proposed new 4-foot-high wood fence between the sidewalk and property line, fronting both East Cayuga and Lion Street. Council.
I have not caught them home yet, but they're basically looking for a fence to go up around their property.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes.
Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to
Make a
adjourn.
motion.
Second.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
John McLaughlin.
Yes.
John Gozick.
Yes.
Did you read the heading?
All set? All set?
All set.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to open up the Administrative Services Committee meeting. Please call the roll.
Robert Cordino.
Here.
Eric Van Buren.
Here.
Caitlin Reynolds.
Here.
Sean Walker. Nathan Emmons.
Here.
Okay, a motion to approve the minutes of the May 16, 2016 committee meeting.
Make a motion.
Second.
Robert Cordino.
Yes.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Caitlin Reynolds.
Yes.
Sean Walker. Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
This time, any old business to discuss? Seeing none, moving on to new business. Under authorizations, item number 1, the engineering department requests approval for change order number 1 for the electrical contract with Patrice Electric for the East Side WWTP generator replacement project number 861-855-6500 in the amount of $0 for the additional performance of maintenance on 6 automatic transfer switches at the East Side wastewater treatment plant, tie-in boiler alarm to the SCADA system at the excess flow management facility. The additional work is provided in the allowance under B, I believe that's I-2A for miscellaneous additional work. Any comments, questions?
Price is right.
The price is right. Mr. Mr. Johnson, do you want to say a few things?
Yeah, this is
Can you come to the mic? Thank you. We want to make sure we can hear you.
This is a $0 change order. Will not affect the price of the contract that's been out, and is necessary work to build it into the SCADA system, the existing SCADA system.
This wasn't originally in the design or specifications?
That's correct.
Came later on, is that...
This is something that Eastside plant manager wanted to have put in at this time. It makes sense, and it's done under the contract at a $0 change order.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, I have a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Robert Cordino.
Yes.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Caitlin Reynolds.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 2, Brian Chetney, Youth Bureau Executive Director, is requesting authorization to continue the Springboard Mural Project of artwork to be installed on the West Riverwalk during 2016. Drawings can be reviewed in the Mayor's reception office. Mr. Chetney, would you like to speak to this?
Okay. This is just a continuation of the murals that's been done on the Riverwalk, been done for years and years, and I think the drawings have, as usual, been given to the mayor's office and are there for your review. So, I'm really sure. What else?
If anyone in the press or the public wants to see the drawings, I left them on the steno's desk if they want to take them.
The only question that came up, first of all, Councilor Walker, due to a family kind of emergency, is not able to be here, but he did call me to tell me he wouldn't be here and wanted to ask or make a point. He reviewed the drawings, and he said it did seem like in years past the drawings were done by children of an older age, maybe high school level.
Incorrect. You can be high school age, but they start elementary age. It's always been elementary through high school.
Okay, always has.
Yes.
All right. All right. Any other questions?
No, I was just saying, you've known it that way. Right, yeah, it's always been that way. And I apologize because Dawn Matat's always done it. She's not with us anymore, but following through her notes, it's always been done elementary through.
Okay, well, since he's been on the council longer than I have,
Right.
I had to ask the question.
Yes.
Since I had to
And the only reason why I definitely know that is I know Dawn's children have done murals before, and they're elementary. So.
In those drawings that I did see, that was the total of the submissions.
Correct, there's 11.
11 of them?
Yes.
That was the total from the whole school district.
That's what was submitted on yes, correct.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
Excuse me. Yeah, I'd just like to say I spend a lot of time down by the river, walking or kayaking. I think it's a really nice thing to see kids out there rather than have graffiti. You know, I've seen the kids drawing, painting along the walkway. They take great pride in their work. I think it's nice to be able to promote that in our community. So I'd just like to commend you, and I'm glad. I wish there were more kids who are going to put murals up, but I think it's great.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I have a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Robert Cordino.
Yes.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Caitlin Reynolds.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 3, Michael Riley, purchasing agent, received bids for the 2016 street milling and paving project. The low bid was submitted by Barrett Paving Materials Incorporated in the amount of $603,458. This project is eligible for CHIPS reimbursement. I don't see Mr. Riley here, but does Mr. Kells want to give us a little background or a little history?
This is the project we talked about earlier this year. It's approximately 7 different spots. It's going to be milled and repaved.
As far as the winning bid here, was that near the estimated cost of these projects?
Actually, it was substantially lower.
Well, that's good news.
Yes.
Because it was lower, can we maybe do more streets. I mean, we have a heck of a lot of streets that need work.
Well, as you know, we have a little project going on Utica Street right now. We might be using some of that for that.
One quick question. Maybe you can give me some more specific information on the definition of a nuisance animal. I mean, you mentioned groundhog and skunk, but in case I get calls from my ward residents.
We trap rabies vectors primarily, so skunks, raccoons, and woodchucks are the primary complaints that we get. The city doesn't do anything with squirrels. It's a whole can of worms that we can't even open. You know, they're considered a ruin. The other ones are much bigger public safety risk because they carry rabies and things like that. So mostly raccoons and skunks, causing property damage, living on the property, digging under sheds, getting in people's barns and garages, and overall just causing issues.
Okay. Thank you. The questions from the council?
Oh, sorry. No, you're fine. I was just going to ask. I mean, typically, I've had to call a couple times, but I just didn't know. Like, typically, like right now, how many calls do you guys get? I mean, on things
on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, for this sort of thing like raccoons. Like, I had a neighbor I had to call because my neighbors had raccoons in the basement. So.
Daily, yeah. Right now, I think I have 18 people on the trapping list. So that's 18 houses, and I usually, if we get a chance to set, we set for 3 or 4 days. So 3 or 4 days times 18, and I can only do a few traps at a time because of the manpower that it takes to check the traps and make sure the animals don't stand into very well and things like that. So we have months of work ahead of us as it is. Sean, it's all he does when he's off from work, so it's something he's able to do a lot more efficiently than we are. But we get a lot of calls. I mean, it's the daily, you know, multiple calls per day for wildlife complaints.
Any other questions? Yes.
Because I know it's going to be at, how are the animals disposed of? Are they relocated or are they destroyed?
No, they are not relocated. A problem animal is a problem animal where it's relocated. We have to use it on wildlife. We have to use it on some raccoons. You know, there have been prior animal control officers that relocated them and released them into the shelter property and things like that, and they've gone on to cause more issues. Our trapper actually made that mistake as well. Sean O'Brien made that mistake releasing at his house. And, a couple of problems. He ended up with 6 skunks at his house, and he also ended up with raccoons in the neighbor's house, and they weren't released because the animals, they don't know. I mean, there's not a magical place in the country that you can release the animals to. You know, we would love that, but basically the problem is because we have an overpopulation issue. The winter was very mild. Nothing died off like it normally would, and you know, quite frankly, we just have too many animals in the city, and the problem is being worked.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, need a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Robert Cordino.
Yes.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Caitlin Reynolds.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 6 under travel, Jeffrey McRovey, Fire Chief, requests authorization to send 1 personnel to the New York State Fire Academy Recruit Firefighter Training Program, which will be held July 24th, 2016 through October 6th, 2016. Chief?
Thank you. It's a basic training class for our latest hire.
Okay, thanks for that in-depth report.
I figured you didn't want me to keep going on and on, so.
I'm good with it. Any other comments?
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Robert Cordino.
Yes.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Caitlin Reynolds.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 7, Deborah Code, City Chamberlain, requests discussion regarding water meter charges. Mrs. Code?
Thank you, Counselor. We haven't raised the charges for the water meters in quite some time, so I'm requesting to, as you'll see by the resolution, to raise the price to our invoice plus $25. So an example of that is right now we charge $110 for a 5/8 inch meter, and we're paying $120, so that charge would go to $145.
How have we done it in the past, Mrs. Code?
In the past, it was part of the water rules, so every time we needed to raise the fee, we needed to go to council, so that's why it hasn't been done in a while. The invoices, this is new to my department in the last few years, so looking at the invoices now, we're paying much more than we should. We shouldn't make money on them, but we should get our cost reimbursed.
Sounds like a good way to go. Any comments, questions? Okay, let's make a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Robert Cordino.
Yes.
Oop, I'm sorry. Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Caitlin Reynolds.
Yes.
Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 8, Mayor Barlow wishes to discuss the implementation of free Wi-Fi, open to the public, available throughout downtown Oswego. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Chairman. This initiative stemmed from working with Justin Rudgick and Amy Birdsall on our downtown revitalization application that we did to apply for $10 million for downtown revitalization. Actually, in that application, having free public access to the internet was worth points on the application. Unfortunately, we missed out on those points officially on the application, but we were thinking, you know, why not be proactive and not wait to hear if we win the funding, not wait until you know, next year or whatever. Why don't we just take it upon ourselves and do it now? Obviously, it's something that's considered viable or considered relevant to make a downtown viable, as it was in the application anyway. So in an effort to modernize our downtown, in an effort to really embrace our SUNY community, in an effort to attract working class families to our downtown, to spend money downtown, to help our small businesses, I think it's important that we have free public access to the internet, free Wi-Fi downtown, to not only help people get to downtown, give them a reason to go to downtown, but once they get downtown, to stay, to congregate, hang out downtown. And I'm not just talking about restaurants or you know, coffee shops, but you know, if a SUNY student wants to come lay a blanket downtown, Councilor Emmons and I were talking about this earlier, actually he brought it up, this is another purpose. I mean, you can literally come downtown, do your homework, whatever it may be. So there's a whole variety of reasons in scenarios in which Wi-Fi can attract people to not only visit downtown, but actually stay and mingle around. So that's kind of where this idea came from. It also came from the fact that earlier this year, when we were opening the marina formerly had cable that our boaters who were docked there would take advantage of. We did away with the cable. That's part of where I'm getting the money to do this. We did away with the cable and implemented Wi-Fi down at the marina. And the feedback we've had from the boaters who are docked there has been very favorable so far. And at this day and age, I mean, very few people, you know, I think Netflix and your iPad and your laptop is almost just as popular as cable TV. So taking the feedback from there, we thought this would be a good initiative. And also being that the marina already has Wi-Fi, looking at downtown, I'll get to the technical details in a minute, but looking at downtown, we can take the boundaries that we'll establish and connect it to the marina. So really we'll have one nice corridor of free public access all the way down to the waterfront. So the details involve the city purchasing 3 of these portals, and what these portals do is we will put them up. We'll literally set the barriers to what we identify as downtown, and I'll take council suggestions for that, obviously. So we'll define the boundaries and put these portals around. We'll have 3 of them, and they'll be in the shape of a triangle. And it will cover the area that we want to serve. Obviously, strategically, like I said, we want to somehow get it down to the marina as well. So we need to buy 3 of those. They are $3,170 each. I propose buy 4, so we have 1 backup in case something happens to one. So I'm looking to buy 4 of those, and in addition is the server. And the server is actually what delivers it's a mesh server, what delivers and carries the internet to all the devices, and that's what the city will be responsible for. Also, and that is priced at $2,486 a month. And it's already in our utilities budget, so we're not looking at new funds. And also, not only is it within our budget, but we're also saving money. The change from cable to Wi-Fi at the marina actually saved us money month to month. And also because of some of the changes the company made at the marina that previously provided cable, we actually saved a little bit of money not moving and making those changes that would have cost some money. So that's kind of how I'm funding this. I know that was the biggest question out there. But any questions I'll take, and I'll just say again that I think this, in the year 2016, I think if you want to get serious about modernizing our city, modernizing downtown, really attracting people to downtown and helping the businesses downtown, free public access to internet is critical at this point in time. Any questions?
I just have one, maybe two. You're saying it's critical to have this available to downtown. Do you have any quantitative data that you can give us comparing, cities of Ithaca or Portland or Auburn that have done this, and has it helped the downtown? Do you know off the top of your head?
I mean, I don't, the answer to the question is no. I don't think it'll hurt downtown in any way. Right. I only imagine it'll help. Just think of personal scenarios that you may encounter, or that people who visit downtown frequently may encounter. If I'm going to get a cup of coffee and I have a spare minute, maybe I'll bring my iPad and sit down at the table and hang out downtown and be able to have access to the internet. Now you can't do that. So, like I said, that I really hope that the college students take advantage of it and come explore downtown, maybe do their homework downtown, wherever it may be. But I can't imagine it hurts downtown. I think it's, quite frankly, I think it's nothing short of an amenity, another amenity to offer the community.
Well, amenities cost money, and I'm just wondering if it's something that is worthwhile. That's why I was asking the question. One more question. You mentioned the marina had cable and no longer has cable, but the marina is really a seasonal operation. And what happens down there at the marina when the season's over? I assume when they used to have cable, there was no cable. We weren't paying for any additional cable services down there. Do we have this type of service available year-round, or is it a seasonal?
The downtown Wi-Fi or marina Wi-Fi?
Marine Wi-Fi.
Marina Wi-Fi, Mike, year-round?
Marina Wi-Fi will be seasonal.
Seasonal.
The downtown will be year-round.
Yes, that's what I was assuming, but I wasn't clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Councilor McGough?
Do we have any ideas of providers?
We've talked to Verizon. Yeah, I mean, it's up to us. We're going to order 3 of these portals, 1 for spare, and I have my thought, but I was going to talk to you, to the council first, and see what's, if there were any hot spots you wanted to make sure were included. But just my preliminary thoughts included maybe starting at literally City Hall and branching it from City Hall down to the marina, obviously connecting into the marina, and then perhaps looking at Riverwalk West, maybe getting it up to West 4th Street, and that whole area. And my understanding is the coverage, having the 3 portals and the server, that's plenty. We have plenty of juice in here, so to speak, to cover that much ground. Mike, do you know how many megabytes each individual have access to?
Well, the Verizon is doing a 100 megabyte feed to us.
And I'll just speak to that. I owe Mike a thank you, by the way. He helped me tremendously on this. But he brought me, when he brought me the price for the server, I said, will this be adequate? If we're not going to do it right, we're not going to do it at all. And he's pretty confident that this will be plenty of, I guess juice will be the word, to make sure that it's convenient, it's not a hassle to get on, it's not painstakingly slow as sometimes internet service can be. It'll be adequate, it'll be a good experience if you use it.
So basically, we're aiming it towards the west side of the river then?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Predominantly west side.
Just to recap, the cost you're talking about is $3,170 for 4 portals, $3,170 for 4.
They're 3,170 each.
Each,
We're gonna.
right.
I propose we need at least 3 to cover enough, sufficient ground. I propose by 4, so we have 1 in
Right,
case
so
one
that's
falls
about
off.
$12,680 for
Yep.
those, which is a one-time fee.
One time.
And the monthly server charge of $2,486 would be obviously the monthly fee.
Yep.
Is there any other additional cost you anticipate?
That'll do it. I believe our own Mike Bonney is going to set it up.
Okay. Any questions?
Mike, I believe it's actually the server. It's not an actual item. It's a mesh server that serves the communication from the portals to the devices. So it's $2,486 a month. There's no initial purchase as far as the server is concerned.
Any other questions? I have one right here.
This is going to be tough.
Would people living in the apartments or homes near it be able to just jump onto this Wi-Fi then?
Yep, that's one point that we're going to have to be comfortable with is, if you live downtown and you live, let's say, in a second story on First Street, there's nothing stopping you. Obviously, we don't prefer that you hop on our public Wi-Fi, but there's nothing stopping you. Is that a bad thing? Is that an amenity to living downtown? That's your call.
Yes.
There are situations where you can put in breaks every 30 minutes, or so it almost resets when there's a gap in service every 30 minutes. Some of the downtowns have utilized that before to kind of discourage homeowners from just utilizing that as their ongoing internet. Yeah. So basically, it's just a quick reset, and they can sign back in after 30 minutes, or you can set that to be whatever it is that you want it to be.
No. Yes.
I'm not clear why you would want to stop people that live downtown from getting on it. I would think that's part of why you're having it, is to pay some money. Why wouldn't you want anyone in the area to go on it? That's the whole point. You should have the whole city under a Wi-Fi umbrella and let everybody get free Wi-Fi.
How much would that cost?
Actually, I think one of Governor Cuomo's initiatives is to make the state all have access to broadband.
Well, we find some extra money, we'll look into that one.
I'm just saying, I don't see any point in booting people off of it. Once you've got it, it doesn't cost you any more to let them on there. They're paying enough taxes, give them all the amenities you want.
Thank you.
Want to attract people.
Yes.
Just to speak to that really fast, if you had everybody on at once, you could potentially slow down usage, which would make it kind of not as valuable to people that are utilizing it for short-term use. So while it may sound great and grand to have everybody on the same system, if it's not initially put out to be able to withstand that kind of use, it could be damaging to the mayor's efforts of trying to make it a short-term, come downtown to use Wi-Fi.
Like if everybody jumps on it during Harbor Fest?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody will have any service.
Well, that's what happens at Harbor Fest when you try to use your phone.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, Councilor Emmons.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to follow up on this conversation, I'm assuming Mr. Bonney is going to come up with perhaps some policies or those sorts of things surrounding the use of the Wi-Fi. Suggestion was maybe 30-minute limits or those sorts of things that you see it in other communities or any place that has free Wi-Fi. You come to a splash page, it talks about you can't do certain things with our Wi-Fi, and oh, by the way, you're only going to be on for 30 minutes, and then you're going to get kicked off. Is that Mr. Bonney's going to take care of that stuff?
Yeah, and Kevin will be involved as well as city attorney, but they'll have to agree, just like usually when you sign into any Wi-Fi, you'll have to agree to some terms and conditions before you have access.
The second question I had was, I would guess that we would need to set aside some funds for some sort of advertising. I mean, we want people to know that when they hit our downtown, that there's free Wi-Fi. It's not, I mean, most folks with their phones are just going to not assume that there's free Wi-Fi and continue to be on their own data networks. Are we interested in, I guess that would be the question of, we're going to offer free Wi-Fi, let's let people know that we have free Wi-Fi when they come downtown,
Yeah.
whether it's posters or whatever else that we need to let folks know that we have it.
I'm open to that. I didn't include that when I talked to the city chamberlain, making sure we had sufficient funds. I didn't really include an advertising budget, but we can talk about that during the week and seal it up for what we want to do. Or Deb, could we include advertising in this purchase, or would we have to pull a line item from somewhere else? So we'll talk during the week. If you want to do that, we can pull a pretty low dollar figure line item from somewhere else.
Especially in the businesses and elsewhere where folks are going to be highly trafficking, to be able to say, or at the Commons, or those types of places where there's a lot of public space, or along the Riverwalk, or wherever else that we might think that...
Talking about like signage?
Yeah, like signage. I mean, I think if we're going to spend the money, let's let folks know that, hey, you're here, up on our Wi-Fi if you're going to throw down that blanket or do your homework or those sorts of things. We have it, so let's let folks know about it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Rudge.
Thank you. I'm participating in the community development director's perspective. I wholeheartedly support Mayor Barlow's initiative in trying to bring Wi-Fi into the downtown as part of the overall downtown revitalization initiative. But we're trying to attract and retain people that want to live and retain people in our community, especially in our downtown. This is one step into making this a valuable amenity that separates the Squeako from other areas. And in 2013, 2014, there were 57 major cities that had adopted public Wi-Fi in their downtown areas. The closest place is Albany, New York, and the city of Syracuse is looking into that through their innovation team in the city as part of the Bloomberg Foundation that they were competitively awarded funding for. So the city of Syracuse is looking into doing public Wi-Fi broadband connection as part of their overall revitalization effort. So I support Mayor Barlow, and I commend him for taking that initiative.
Thank you. Anybody else? Well, seeing none, thank you for the discussion. At this point, at the end of the items under discussion, are there any other questions or comments related to tonight's proceedings? Well,
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Robert Cordino.
Yes.
Eric Van Buren.
Yes.
Caitlin Reynolds.
Yes.
Sean Walker. Nathan Emmons.
Yes.